Hi everyone, I'm MJ and I'm gonna show you how to make techno using only Ableton stock plugins and instruments. And in this video, we'll focus on the loop, and in the next one, we'll turn this loop into full arrangement. So let's jump into Ableton. What we're gonna do today. So we're gonna start with a BPM 141. I'm using the AG Techno kit, in which I replaced a few sounds. I splitted them actually to have a low end and high end separately. This is the original AG Techno kit. This sound is replaced by me with a copy of this kick drum, and tom comes from 808 kit. And the cymbal, I also replaced it with a clap 707. Let's focus on the low end. For the low end, I copied this part, and this is the original sample, which I decided to shorten with the fade out. And then the copied version is transposed 12 semitones, and here we also play with a fade in and fade out. And the goal here is to layer two sounds to make a thicker, more punchy kick. Because if we take a look, this is the original kick. And this is what we want to achieve. Right? So for this exercise, apart from this kit, you can click here to create a return track. And on the return track, I am having the hybrid reverb convo mode plates. You can check the decay settings, just copy everything as it goes if you want to do the same with the EQ to get rid of some unwanted frequencies. So we don't need to discuss much about the programming of the kick because it's a 4 to the floor. But then apart from that, we also have our rumble section. And this is made by two additional kicks. Let me show you. So these two are programmed by changing the velocity to give you the groove and the driving pumping effect. So this is a preference thing. You can simply feel it, and if you compare it with the second layer of the rumble, we didn't play together with the same velocities across this 8-bar loop, just to make sure that we have something going on that is simply interesting. So for the processing, first of all, we have this two kicks. So the first one, we are processing it with a multiband dynamics, and here we only focus on the lower part. There is no recipe, it's literally the preference. So you need to find the sweet spot where the kick sounds good for you. And then on the contrary side, this is exactly the same frequency I'm using to kill the low and add the top part from the second kick, right? So then on both, I am having a saturator and a drum bass, and I'm EQing it a little to my liking. So this is the sound of each of them, and that's it. Here again, this is the core kick with a saturator, drum bass, and the EQ. There's also drum bass on the channel, a lot of drum bass here. I like drum bass. And let's move to the rumble effect. So this is our kick. In this case, I'm transposing it because it simply matches my groove better. We use a similar approach where we apply the multiband dynamics. In this case, I want to have more air coming from this sound. That's why I also lowered the amount on the saturator. And we we put the gain up in the middle range of the frequencies a little to achieve this airy sound. At the end, this is a sidechain, so it's a shaper MIDI clip linked to the gain from the utility. And here I'm only regulating the depth. It goes every 1/4 of a note and gives you simply the same effects as, not the same, similar to the sidechain compressor. But here we simply lower the volume. We are not compressing anything. And then we have our fourth kick, which is like a thump. So this is the lower part of the rumble. Again, saturator, EQ, and filter to make sure we have it there. And let's not forget about sidechain. And all together. Cool, right? Then to complement the bass, we have, the low end, we have the bass. As you can hear, there's a lot of conflicting frequencies, obviously, so I'm killing it a little bit, and this bass is just like a complementary thing here. And the biggest attraction is happening, like it adds to the groove because of the way it is automated. So let's take a look at the automation. First of all, we open the filter at the end of the bar. And another thing is a pitch bend modulation. My dog is going crazy. The pitch modulation that gives you the groove together with the kick. In terms of the sound, maybe that's also important to mention, the preset is called 4-month rhythm, and we are playing only notes in one note basically, with a change in the velocity and the length. And again, in terms of a processing, this is the setting from the preset. I tweaked it a little to my liking. We have a drum bus with a compression. We have the auto filter, which is linked to the envelope automation, and our sidechain. And that's basically it. Oh, and important here, the drum bus takes care of the transients from our track. We also have our top layer section from the drums. So let's take a look at this one. It's a full pattern here. So first of all, we have rides. In order to have them not boring, I played around with the velocity. As you can see here, this is the main hit. It's also longer, and it's not regular. So the loop repeats every 2 bars, and this gives us some nice groove and rhythm. Additionally, we have a FX sound that we hear once every 2 bars, together with this hi-hat with an echo, and then the rest. We have the clap, which just clap pattern, and then from the important aspects, we have our hi-hat, the metronome, which is also modulated with the velocity, another hi-hat, and snare. We also have a tom here, which is heavily processed. We'll get to the processing in a second. Alright, so let's take a look at the way it is processed. So we have the snare. Snare is just pitched up. Then we have the clap, crunch. This one takes place once. Once with, again, super pitched up. I picked the part of the sample that I liked, and I applied delay with no feedback on it, and a reverb, pretty long one, since we have this happening only once. Then we have our hi-hat. This is the offbeat hi-hat. And for this one, we have the large hole again. Sorry, I also want to mention here that we have the sense, right? The same as with the low end, which you can copy, but a different EQ to take care of the frequencies that we like. Then we have the processed hat, which is also happening once here, and it already has an echo built within it, so I only placed the reverb on it. We have our metronome hi-hat. This one I enhanced it with a vocoder because this is how it sounds like. Cool, huh? And it's also pitched up. So we also have this FX with a big reverb and auto pan, also a preset just to give us some movement around the head. And yeah, nothing here. And we move to the right. And apart from the processing here with the dynamic changes in the velocity, what is happening here is that I've used this plugin. It's called Trash from Izotope. This is a free version, so you can also use it. This is how it changes the sound. And to have a more dynamic option, we of course have the sidechain and EQ. I think that's it. Oh yeah, the clap. Nothing happening here with the clap. So this is our drum section, and here you can hear them all. Sorry, we also have a cymbal. And this will accompany our ride when it's needed. But maybe so we have a sidechain, we have an EQ, and then the full drum kit goes with the drum bus and the EQ to kill the lower frequencies. So let's hear it all together so far. Cool. But it would be boring, so let's add some life. And in this role, we have our percussive instruments. Percussive elements. I use samples, Moon Golf, Rising Shift. It's 1, 3, and 4. So as you can see, I changed the pitch of them. They're grouped, but there's nothing processed here. It's just for me to see it better. We have a first one. Yeah, the sound comes mostly from the delay and this dirty tremolo. This tremolo is really cool because you have a ring mode here, and I just need to find a sweet spot with the mix. And then we have a reverb and just the EQ to clear it, and that's it. And second one, similar processing. Here the delay has a feedback, and that's also very simple. And then we have the third sample that will happen only once every 8 bars, and this one is more rich. So in this example, we are also using the dirty tremolo and the reverb. It's basically the same with a different chorus and spread, of course. But the thing is, what is making this whole thing to sound cool is applying the tremolo after reverb. So yeah, let's check this out. Okay, and this element, of course, this is some sort of a call response, but to make it more interesting, I also added the boink. And the boink, yeah, it's just a one note, heavily processed FM sound. I dropped it first to the drum kit, that's why it looks like this, then I separated it, but in general it's just this DS-FM Max for Live device. Oh, you can actually find it somewhere here, right? So if you are interested, this is how it sounds. Very shy, very quiet. That's why we need to take care of it. First step is to add some echo, distortion, shifter, again with a ring mode, and LFO, clean it a little, maximize it, and add a long reverb. So together. Right, then the next element from this melodic section is a synth. So for this synth, I went with a choppy synth preset from Ableton, which, as you can see, I automated. That's in a second. And then, yeah, I cleaned it a little to get the sounds, the frequencies that I want. Here are my modulations, and we also have a reverb and auto filter at the end. Everything at the end is also compressed. So let's see what's happening here. It's a very simple pattern. We played 4 notes, basically 2. It's 3 octaves of G and G sharp. But as you can hear, this sound, despite being just like a few notes, is changing, and everything is here linked to my LFO and shaper. So what's happening is that this is the LFO, very small, with a remote mode mapped to the filter cutoff. I found the sweet spot for me where I like the way it sounds. And then another one is a shaper, and this one automates the amount of the delay. And what's the difference between shaper and LFO is that this particular lets me design how I want these changes to happen across, for example, sync thread. So every 8 bar, this is what's happening. You can see the movement in the right corner, and basically similar as LFO, we set the range of the change that's gonna happen. And then in the peak moment, my delay amount might go to 69%, and then the lowest is 19. And because I set the rate as 8 bars, my changes are applied in the middle of the loop, and this is for me to add some life, not in this always standard sections. So that's it. And yeah, this one is just, like I played around, as you can see, like I had some ideas, so then I just picked the best one. So in order to have it sound good, yeah, you need to make sure that it's dynamic, so different velocities. You can also play around with different note lengths. You don't need to quantize everything to the grid. And this is how it sounds like. But before we listen to the full set, let's move to the texture, because it's basically the same thing, but copied to the texture. I know it's not exactly the same. The difference is that, first of all, if you take a look at these both loops, they come from the same MIDI clip. The difference is that the texture is looped from the 3rd bar, while the main lead is coming from the 2nd, so they never played the same thing at the same time. It's the same octave, so Okay, and of course try to spread it and see how it works out in the track. And yeah, the same synth, the same mapping. We don't EQ here. We let it happen, you know, as it is. And then at the end, the flavor comes from the glitch resonance preset. And what's happening here? Like, okay, a lot. Let's not discuss it. We don't have that much time. And at the end, we have the sidechain. So so it just adds a lot of glitches and noises. So if we listen to it together, it's very low in volume, so it's just to enrich the sound. So all together. We can modulate that later when we talk about the arrangement. And then the last elements, these two are just samples with a reverb, so not much to discuss. But the last element is a pad. And this pad is here to give you the mood of the track. So what's happening here? First of all, we use this preset, MP Dream Grain Drone. I was tweaking parameters here, the knobs, and I ended up with this sound, and I decided to keep it this way. I used the utility, but then I killed the frequency, so you can ignore it. We obviously have the sidechain, and at the end we also have an auto filter, just to make sure that we don't have the information that we don't need. But about the programming itself, as you can see, it's just one note, and it's one bar, one note, the same bar, the same velocity. Why not legato? Is simply because I decided to test the chord expression tools. Yeah, expressive chords. Yeah, so this one. And there was one called Detroit Techno, so why not? And in this example, as we are playing only one note, by default this device wouldn't change much. That's where we have these knobs, and they let you invert the chord and change some parameters. So I copied my LFO and I placed it here, hoping that eventually at some point these markers will change to give us literally random configuration between this invert and tilt. I only want this middle part. Right, it's quite eerie. I like it. What you can also do is like this random button is cool. So maybe you find something that you like more. Actually, it sounds cool too. All together. That's it. And the last aspect, in case your sound doesn't sound like mine, is because of this mastering channel. And to be honest, this is some preset that I got from Ableton Move. I started making this drum pattern on Move, and by default there were some parameters which I left here as yeah, it just simply sounds good. So that's it. So next video I will show you how to turn this into arrangement.